This is the driveway coming into the location at One Hammock, as I call it. And we are scoping around here with the golf course of Hacienda that is adjacent to the properties in this location. And this is the front gate and the gateway that you leading into your location there. The gate on the left is for those who live here. The gate on the right is for guests. All right, we're now in front of the house, across where the tennis courts are, and looking at the front yard, the massive trees, oak trees, etc., that are in front of this house, and then the house next door adjacent, if you wish, not that close, and then of course the roadway leading up to it. And here we will take a look at the tennis courts, which are private to everybody here living in this inner 8. Not unlike the pool, hardly ever used. This is the front driveway, front part of it. Once again, we're looking across towards the tennis courts from the driveway to give you a better perspective. And there's a fountain that is in the front lawn, and a statue over to the left of it. And doing a pan here for a moment. And try not to go too fast here. You get a picture of the palm trees in front of the house, and there you'll see the front entryway. We'll get closer in a moment. Rick and Tina live next door, friends of mine. In the distance there, we'll see a better close-up a little bit later. Completely remodeled their home at the cost of about $100,000. This is a big tree overlooking the house here, this is out here towards the bedroom areas and so forth, in the back side, on the front side, I'm sorry. And then I'm going to walk up here just a slight bit to give you an idea of the front porch here, where I have my car, my Jeep, parked underneath there. And give you a perspective of how it stands with the driveway leading to it, and as it goes around, it's a circular driveway in front of the home, leading up from the main road there. We are outside. I'm going to continue with the outside, and then we'll go inside in a few minutes and take a look at that. This again is an area where Jay, when he looked at this, felt that maybe this could be enclosed as, if you wish, a garage as well. It could possibly be done. This is an open area that is adjacent to the house, part of the house. We're parking about 4 to 5 vehicles here if you wanted to. And or, as we talked about, you could put a garage there with a buggy garage separate from the house, or possibly going into the house, which is right here behind where I was shooting where the cars come in, carports or whatever you wish to call them. And beautiful setting here with the trees all around it. There's construction going on right now. They're trying to fix the porch and everything, and that's why the ladder, etc. They completed the pathway, which last week we couldn't walk on. They were just working on it, which leads then into the back area here. They have over here to the left more open space up to that wall, up the adjacent wall, which is part of the neighbor's home, which is where Mr. Morse, Gary Morse, lived at one time when they were still putting this whole place all together for the villages. And we're walking down here. Let me scope around a little bit, and you can see from here the outside of the house and all the foliage and trees in the front. Let me come back and we'll continue on our pathway here. As you can see, there's a sitting area that they have set up here on this deck. The deck has been repaired. That's what the white pieces are that you see. Here we have the back deck of the home, and from there we'll walk out here a little bit and see the pathway deck, as I call it, which I had in my description that I had sent to you earlier, that leads down then to a pond, down to where the swimming pool is. Plus there's a pond over here that you overlook from where you're located. And this is out behind the home. And again, the deck. And if I can get this up here, I'm sorry, there we are. This will give you an idea. It's kind of barren, of course, because there's nothing here right now, but it will give you an idea of what it's like there. Let me go back again to show you the trees that are over top here. Good size, coming down and going across here once again to the pond. There's a walkway around the pond, which you'll see in a moment as we get closer. And as we go down the pathway here to where then the pool is located, with the guest house, as functions as a guest house as well as a clubhouse, which is again hardly ever used. So now we're down in the pathway, taking a look here at the house, once again with the trees above, and pathway leading up to the arborway there that we just came through as we come down from the house. And of course this is the one next door, where Morris lived once again at one time. In any event, leading out to the pool, as we get closer, there's a pathway all the way around here, which I'll show you in a second. Here you can see the pool from the outside. Has its own bird cage. The HOA was recently formulated. My good friend John Cornell and his wife John is the the treasurer, and his wife is the president. And my other good friend Rick, his wife Tina, is the secretary. So you're in good hands, because these people are just now kicking in with the dues that they have, which are minimal. And I will get a price. I don't have that in front of me, but in any event, they will be taking care of this. This here is the pathway coming towards the pool. This is the guest house that I was mentioning, or the clubhouse. And incidentally, I just learned that they're going to redo the entire clubhouse internally. So spiffing it up, as the saying goes, which is really not too bad. I think Jay and Sharon saw they saw it and didn't think it was too terrible. This is the inside of the pool area, and here you see the pool. I think Sharon had a little problem with the temperature of the pool, but again, that is being readjusted. There's cleanup to be done with the bird cage. As you can see, there's some debris on top from the recent storms we had a few weeks ago, and all of that is going to be rectified, as I was told by the HOA itself. And a huge thing to be done. Well, it's not a huge job, excuse me, just a cleanup. Okay, so now we're inside of the clubhouse, which I'm going to show to you as I pan around here. That's the entranceway coming in from the pool. As you come in, on your right, you'll see this little kitchen area, all put together here. And you can see too, all the artifacts that they have there, glasses and wine holders and so forth, wine bottle holders. And then as we pan around, we see in the distance where the TV is set is located. And these are two pull-out beds that they currently have. This is all going to be replaced as they spiffen it up. And then we pan around over there where the door is. The first door right there is a bath. And the other door goes to the outside pathway. This is a sitting area for your meals. And over here is another small area for, not that small actually, for having a counter set up, fast food or party or whatever, because it is kind of a party place as well, of course. And there you have it. Incidentally, in the clubhouse here, they just wanted to point out there's internal wall speakers that are hooked up then to the TV itself, and or can be hooked up if you have an iPod or iPhone, and I oftentimes do that myself at my place. It makes it easier, especially if it's wireless. And again, here we are. One final perspective before I leave. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to take you on a brief walk on this pathway around for the inner eight, as the saying goes. As you can see, there's one. I don't know if I'm going to have the right count, so I apologize. This is number 2 that is over adjacent to this house, to the clubhouse. The clubhouse is here on my right. I'm just walking around it right now. And it's a big circle. And then, as we go around the corner here, as you can see, there's the pool once again. There's another doorway to it, adjacent to the clubhouse here on my right. And then we're going to go down across this pathway. And I hope I'm not shaking this camera too much. I'm trying to go gently here so you have a fairly good idea what the story is. As you can see, there's another home. And now that's John Cornell's home. He is the treasurer, and his wife again is the president. Now, hopefully the sun is not killing us here, but the pathway here I just took, I came down here next to the pool, and this pathway goes across to where the house is, and this pathway continues on around just a small adjacent area, and that once again is John Cornell's home. And this is the pond, which is behind your house, and that house in the distance is Rick's, the next door neighbors that I do know. And in fact, his wife Tina is a very good friend of Stan, who owns the house you're looking at, which will make life easier with us getting things done if this is the way you elect to go, which I hope you do. And this will give you perspective. This is the little brook, as I call it, that goes behind the homes, behind your place. Well, actually you have the pond. This is really going behind Rick's house over here. And you can see the house you're looking at right there with the big tree. And this is the bridge that goes across here. Let me go up onto the bridge for a moment. And you'll see here the water then flowing into the pond as it is. And again, going over here to your left towards the house. So this Rick's house was in worse condition than the one you're looking at, much worse. And he said it cost maybe a little over $100,000 to get it put back in shape the way he wanted it. They did a lot to it. They have wheelchair access, etc., because they're looking towards the future needs. Just in case everything goes wrong, whatever, hopefully not. And he said you can actually look at it when you come here to get a perspective as what can be done if that's what you wish to do. As I mentioned, the house is livable as it stands, but I'm sure there's some things you're going to want to do, whatever. And here we have, again, this is the back area here and the pond. And of course the bridge, which I just came across. Okay, so we're in front now, and we are going to go inside. I'm sure you had enough of a perspective of the outside, into the front entrance, which is right here. So here we are at the front entrance, and we are now going to go inside. Okay, so the door is now open. If we go inside, you can see there's a large closet in the front hallway here with a window at the end that looks out towards the porte-cochere where the cars are located. Then we turn around and we can take a look here at this hallway going down. It's a fairly long hallway. I don't have the measurement on it right now. But here to the left, we can go into this room that I had described as a room in the front, goes out onto the patio that we were just looking at from the outside, and that you can see here from the inside. There's the pathway leading down to the pool, and there of course is the pool house, not far away at all. And here then is this room. Beautiful windows here overlooking the sun, and need a little wash job, but that's beside the point with the fan going. And this room then has a large closet of good size walk-in, as you can see. And then adjacent to this is another room which functions as a bedroom. That's the thing about this house. You can have these rooms function whatever way you wish. One could suggest a bedroom here. They have sky type of lights here, and a window, again, looking out towards the east where the sun is. Here we see the floors and the type of floors that they are. And again, we're back to here with this room. So there's this room, and then you go into that room, and of course they share this large closet, however you set it up. And then of course this is adjacent to the hallway, which we just came down from the front door. And now, if we go across here, we come into the kitchen area. But before I do that, here is the bathroom. Let me turn the light on just so you can see. And there you are, it's a half bath, adjacent to the rooms here. And then we'll scan around here to where the kitchen area is. This is the back side of it, if you wish, as you enter into it. There is here a closet, pantry closet. All kinds of things can go in there. It's pretty good size. Fairly new appliances. And again, the kitchen here overlooks the patio, or if you wish, the deck outside. And these are the counters. Over here is the oven and microwave on top, and the counter going along here with the above hanging counters as well. And of course we have here a stove. Okay, now this is the kitchen from another perspective where the dining area is. And of course the front hallway that we were on that comes around into this area as well. And I'll go back over here so that you can see the dining area here is set up fairly large itself, right here adjacent to the kitchen area. And then from there, we come into this pretty gigantic room. I call it a family room, you can call it a Florida room, call it a game room, you can call it whatever you wish. Windows on every wall, as well as sliders going out to the deck once again that we were looking at from the outside. And I haven't lit everything up, but this will give you a general idea of the size of this room. And here is the bar, what I call a mini bar, fully functional, with its own setup with a wine holder, bottle holder, and return vent underneath. Over here, as we go across, you can see the view from the windows out onto the landscape. We can go over to this window on the front side. It looks over the pond and the bridge that I came across earlier. And again, we can get a perspective for this room. And again, here is the wet bar, as I call it. And this will give you an idea about what it has here behind it. A small refrigerator, setups of drawers, etc., doorways, and the beat goes on. And again, looking out towards the deck. Okay, now here's the dining area again, looking into the great room, as I call it, and then the kitchen area, then the pathway or hallway coming from the front hallway, and the other rooms on the other side, to where we now have another room here, very good size, that goes around here, has its own closet, is a guest room. He converted it into a different kind of a room for his own purposes, but it is a guest room, and it has its own full bath here. I call it a guest room. You could make it your master bedroom. It just depends how you want to set things up. So it's a room, a bath, closet, and again, it's on the front of the house. Here we see, you can turn these lights on, I guess, if they want to come on. I haven't got them everything hooked up. Anyway, it gives you a perspective of what we have here for the bathroom and the shower. And again, we sweep around here and we can see the room adjacent to it. Okay, so now we come out of that room and we go through the little hallway here, which again is accessible from the dining area and from the hallway there where the kitchen is. And now we go to a third part of this home in which there was a person in a wheelchair living here, so things are a little differently arranged than they would be in the ordinary home. Doesn't explain everything, but it does explain some of the setup. This is a pathway down the middle here. We have closets on the right, closets on the left, fairly large. And then if you swing over here, the lighting here is not wonderful, but bear with me. I think you can get a perspective of this is another bedroom setup. As to whether it would be the master bedroom or not is another question. And or the idea what Jay brought up was to knock this wall down here, even though there's some equipment here that's really not that big a deal. It's just a return fit. There's no real heavy equipment and this is just a thermostat. And if they did that, this whole area would open up. But as you go down the hallway here, on your left, we have a sink, which again was because of the wheelchair, used strictly without any other accoutrements, if you wish. And you can see how it's set up. And then it leads here to another room, which I described in my letter as a room that contains the hot tub. Okay, now we're in this room here with the setup here. And this is what's called the sunroom, which is adjacent to where we just were looking at the other rooms. Let me just swing around here for a second. The video stopped on me by mistake, so I apologize. Let's see if we can get this corrected. This is the door coming from where we were looking at the bedroom here. And it goes out then to this room. Again, he was in a wheelchair, so they couldn't have this tub outside where they should be. So right now it's inside in this room, taking up about 1/4 of it, or 1/3. And I don't think it's more than 1/4, quite honestly. It's a nice room with a big picture window at the end, being blocked, of course, by the tub a little bit. Likewise, a nice window over here in the front of the house. This is around the side, and of course, there's a nice doorway going out back here from this room onto its own porch, unrelated to the deck we saw out front. So this is quite private back here. And this, I guess, is where he did most of his living because of being in a wheelchair. So this will give you, you'll see some of the junk in the room here, but give you a perspective of the room itself. And you can see it has a beam ceiling with the fan, and very nicely laid out if you look at the basics and use a little imagination, I think is the right word to use. Okay, now from this room, we're gonna go to the last part of this house, which is just sprawling all over the place, like I mentioned in my note. And again, here's the sink that was set up because being in the wheelchair. And I think too, that's why the room was set up the way it is, as I mentioned earlier, not the most ideal, the way it's set up. But quite honestly, this wall here, were it to be knocked down, would just open up this whole area very nicely. If that's what you want to do, there's many ways one can go. Now, here then, for that, is the bath. A little different from the point of view set up for a wheelchair. But there is the shower. To the right is another sink for the priviness of this area. And of course, here is a linen closet next to it. And then a bath. And right now has a sizable tub that was a whirlpool type of tub. All right, and so forth. Good size. And adjacent to all of this is another room, which, you know, imagination go wild here, but this has its own closet, access to the bathroom, and it's on the front. The shades are down right now, I apologize, but you get the idea. And here it's being used as a laundry room currently. Many ways one could go with this, or just leave it as a laundry room. For the sake of argument, I opened the windows here in this room so you can get a perspective of the front where we were walking around the circular driveway. This room looks out on that, and then has a fairly sizable closet here as well. And again, opens out to where we were looking at that bath and and the sink itself. Okay, Ray, so there you have it for the house. We're going to close it up now, and hopefully that gave you enough perspective before you make your trip down here, and hopefully you'll want to take a look at it, because it's, I think, well worth looking at. And again, here's the front foyer entrance way outside, leading then out to the circular driveway, and once again to where the cars are parked under here. Okay, so there we have it. Finally closed up. Hope you enjoyed the tour for what it's worth. And to be continued, hopefully, when you come down here. And any questions you have, please feel free to contact me. More than happy to answer any of them if that I can. And we'll go from there. Have a good one. Take care.